Time to stock up on your warm weather favorites for summertime entertaining, gift giving, and enjoying. Supermarket Liquors and Wines is your headquarters for all the liquors and wines you'll need throughout the season. And you know what? They're open 7 days a week for your convenience, late night Friday, Saturday, and always plenty of cashiers on hand to speed you on your way. You want to find out what their specials are every week? Just check them out online, supermarketliquor.com. They're Niagara's largest liquor store, which means their prices and selection are the best you're going to find. Supermarket Liquors and Wines, Niagara Falls Boulevard, Military Road, just across from the Fashion Outlet Mall. Supermarket Liquors and Wines, where you'll always find plenty of brightly lit free parking in front of the store. And plenty of cashiers on hand to speed you on your way. Supermarket Liquors and Wines.
The opinions expressed on NiagaraBroadcastNetwork.com are those of the host and the guest, not of management or the sponsors.
Lovers know a special place, Niagara Falls. Romance shows on every face in Niagara Falls. Rushing waters tumbling down on jagged rocks below. Swirling cool and misty breezes give your cheeks a lover's glow. Love is in the air in Niagara Falls. Honeymooners everywhere in Niagara Falls. Cable cars, the maid of the mist, your first ride, you're gonna be kissed. 8 or 80, you'll find true love call.
Love is in the air, Niagara Falls. Is that true, Seth?
I think so. I think so.
We got Seth Piccirillo back with us. He's running for mayor. We got to talk about a few things. We got to talk about the last two debates, actually. First debate, I don't know. I walked away going, what'd they say? What'd they come up with? And the second one was more of a debate.
Sure.
We had a little talk back and forth. But there's some questions that people are asking me that I want to ask you. Tell me, first of all, you're running for mayor. Let's give us your background for folks who are maybe just joining us.
Running for mayor, the Democratic primary is June 25th on Tuesday. First of all, thanks for having me again, as always. Currently, I'm the Director of Community Development for the City of Niagara Falls, and I'm running on a platform that's pretty simple, but we've been detailed with it from the beginning. We are running on cutting your taxes, helping to end land speculation in that tax plan, neighborhood investment, community policing, and leadership that Niagara Falls can be proud of.
Okay, let's start with those things. Let's
Yes.
start with some of those points.
Okay.
Land value taxing.
Right.
People are calling me up, and you hear from both sides. Seth is saying he wants to raise our taxes. This land value tax, he's saying it won't, but it has to raise our taxes.
It's the opposite of it. So right now in the homestead, non-homestead system that we've had since the late 90s, the system pits homeowners against small business owners. So small business owners pay more. There has not been an assessment of properties in a very long time. And the system benefits land speculators who have vacant or unkept properties that are paying basically nothing. So we're shouldering that burden. A land value tax would tax the value of the land instead of the building on top of it, meaning your tax rate would go down, and we have proof of that in the calculation. Taxes would go up for land speculators, okay? That's, if we're talking about, well, it sounds too good to be true, taxes would go up for properties that are sitting vacant, that are not, that are valuable, that are marketed to have value, but are doing nothing.
Well, why wouldn't the taxes of my house go up if everything else was going up?
Because your land in a neighborhood, my land in a neighborhood is not as valuable as the turtle. There's a difference of land value. So it's clear we are a tourism destination. The land that is downtown is more valuable than my house in LaSalle. Okay, but this system also works out for the owner of the turtle. For instance, if NFR, the owner of the turtle, decides we're going to demolish that structure and build a high rise, their taxes would go up from there. In this system, land value, their taxes would be set because it's based on the value of the land. So the long or the short of it is, and we're going to have information up on our website tomorrow showing the calculation. If a regular reassessment would happen and a equalization would happen, like my opponent, Barbara Steino, talked about at the debate last week, taxes are going up. Anyone that's involved with taxes in any municipality, including ours, knows that a reassessment and a standard equalization means our taxes are going up. He wouldn't be able to argue that point. I'm offering land value tax as a way for taxes to actually go down. If we continue to do the same thing that we're doing now, it's either you're going to have an unequalized tax rates will not go down. So that's why we need to look at a new system that is more equitable.
Well, I'm a little.
Sure.
I'm skeptical, and here's one of the things that bugs me. When a politician says your taxes are going to go down, I've rarely seen somebody say, "Hey, we're cutting your taxes." Unless it's the day before election, I'm cutting your taxes.
So me too. But let's think about it. Any time in Niagara Falls or any other city has anyone said, "Here's how I'm going to cut your taxes"? I'm putting out a plan of saying that it's worked in other cities. Here's the calculation. It's based on value. It's not me just saying, "Oh, we're gonna cut services. We're gonna cut your taxes." I am giving a specific plan. That plan is not overnight. It would require state home rule approval, which some detractors of this plan are saying, "Well, that's impossible." Home rule is not impossible. It's a legislative act. In the debate on Wednesday, my opponent basically said, well, it's a non-starter with the state. Well, as I've said from the beginning, I think that's resigned thinking. If we're talking about bold leadership, something that he has said, and we are electing a mayor to lead us, before we even get in office, if we're saying, oh, a new idea can't work, then what are we really doing? That's not leadership. That's a cop-out. We need to come up with a solution to this unfair tax structure we have. We have made a decision for decades not to assess our properties, to let this keep going down the road. People often say, well, you're just going to be a continuation of the current administration, right? Well, this is proof that I'm not. I am presenting a brand new tax structure that I think would be fair for homeowners, would go after land speculators, which people in this town do not do. We are making it clear to do-nothing developers that we're not open for land speculation. And we actually want to cut tax rates. Just a couple of quick numbers if we're going on average. Right now, on the average parcel, taxes are about $1,083. If we did a reassessment and equalized the tiers, the homestead, non-homestead, which Barbara Steiner was proposing, taxes would go up to $1,400, $1,438, so almost $1,500.
Does he have to do now? Say he became mayor. Does he have to do a reassessment, or can he just leave it the way it is?
He doesn't have to, but he said that he was in favor of a reassessment. And honestly, if things continue on the way they are, small business owners are still going to be paying double what homeowners are. That's the difference between the homestead, non-homestead right now. Small business owners pay double.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you become mayor and you apply for this home rule for your land value tax that you say will not raise the homeowners' taxes.
Right.
And you don't get it. If the state, somebody in the, you know how politics.
Sure.
If somebody in the state says, no, we're not going to give you that rule, what's your next plan?
Then we have to go after some type of financial penalty for land speculation, because there has to be a tax burden, cannot be just picked up by the homeowners and the small business owners. There's too much property that is just sitting feral that out-of-town land speculators are committed to just sitting on for a generation. We need to change that. there needs to be a more equitable tax base. So if the home rule doesn't come for the land value tax, we still need to look at going after land speculators. I'm not naive. I'm not saying that it's all or nothing, but I think I'm the first candidate in a very long time that has said, no, we're going to send a message about speculation. And I think that some of the criticisms of this plan are because of that.
So you're going to, have you talked to anybody yet? Have you talked to state anybody who said, I'm planning this, can we get this? Does anybody encourage you to say, yeah, we could do it, or what do you get?
Cities where it's worked, we've talked to companies that do the analytics of it.
Let me interrupt you
Sure.
right there, because we've seen a lot of publications in the past week.
You've seen one publication.
Okay, I saw one publication.
You've
I
seen-
heard a couple of things.
Right.
But I saw one publication, and it stated that the cities that have tried it, and granted they may be the ones that didn't work, but it didn't work.
There's one city that it was recalled in. It was Altoona, right? And it's a example that's being used. In Altoona, the companies that are land speculators made a political move to remove elected officials that were supportive of land value tax. There are cities throughout the country that have been using land value tax not in the 2000s, since the 90s and late 80s. This is not a new concept. What you do see is that developers who are sitting on property do not support it. A great example of a place where it worked, not the entire city used it, but downtown Pittsburgh has used it. Harrisburg, Scranton, where they saw 70 to 90% of tax rates go down. And I'm not saying that every rate's going to go down. I'm saying that, a site like the Turtle, their taxes are going up.
Can we afford in Niagara Falls for our tax rate to go down and our services to stay the same or increase? Because obviously we need it.
You wouldn't be increasing the levy. You would be redistributing the taxes. But here's what you'd also be doing. People don't improve their properties, whether it be homeowners or business owners, because there's financially penalty for it, right? So if you decide, if you're in a restaurant, you're saying, I'm going to expand my kitchen, your taxes are going up. If you're a homeowner, you're going to put an addition on your house, your taxes are going up. Let's think about an environment where investment isn't penalized. There would be more investment. That investment brings other revenue like sales tax, job creation. Every politician, including my opponent, likes to talk about, I'm going to create an aggressive business environment, okay? He had a mailer today that said, the way that we are going to fix every problem, including poverty, is an aggressive business climate. Without changing the tax rate, what does that mean? What it traditionally means is incentives. Incentives are paid for by the taxpayer. So someone's got to tell me, other than making it less costly to do business, what are we talking about? My guess it's going to be pilots and tax incentives. Again, I don't know the details of it because they're not presented. But I think we should start with the basics, reducing taxes in a smart and sustainable way.
And again, your proposed land value tax will make the land around the falls more valuable. They'll pay more taxes for the land speculators. But the average homeowner in this city, you're claiming their taxes will not go up.
We're talking about all neighborhoods. We're going to put up a analysis of 28 streets, right? So we're going to give 28 examples.
You're going to put this up on your site today, you said?
We'll have it up by tomorrow morning.
Okay, we'll give the
Yeah.
site before you leave, because, I mean,
And here's the two, we're going to give a couple different things. We're going to show what you would pay under land value tax and what you'd pay under reassessment. Because I think it's clever that people who are opposed to this are saying it's a reassessment, where if you look at anything that I've said, not once have I said a traditional reassessment would work. At the debate on Wednesday, the question was direct. Do you support reassessment? And I said no. The reason I said no was the first thing, I live in LaSalle. The first thing that's going to happen on the corner of Buffalo Avenue as you go to Cuba Island, the stop the reassessment signs are going to come up. It's going to create a division in the community. It's happened in the past. Our neighborhoods are actually taxed at different rates because of that argument in the community in the past. I know better. A traditional reassessment will not work. That's probably why it has been put off. We need to go another way. new ideas can work. This is an idea that has worked in other cities like ours. And please, someone, if you're saying that you can't just criticize an idea and not present your own, if you're going to say land value tax isn't going to work, come up with a tax structure plan other than saying you're going to be aggressive, because what aggressive means is incentives. Incentives are paid by the taxpayer.
I'm hearing, and all the politicians are saying it. We're gonna encourage business to come into this town. We're gonna grow the town that way. Business is gonna come back. Jobs are coming back, and people.
So
I'm
gonna go with the real world example, right? Because I work with small business owners. My dad's a small business owner. Cost of doing business. If it's less expensive for him to pay taxes, that means he can expand his business. He can buy more product. He would rather that, and most business owners would rather that than having to apply for an IDA tax pilot, right? And jump through all those hoops, because now you're in the bureaucratic business of government. You want to focus on, if you're a restaurant, you want to focus on your food product. If you are making a good or a service, that's what you want to focus on. So the way that you attract business, in my opinion, is you reduce rates, you provide sound government services, everything from potholes to policing, and you try to create a 5 to 10 year stable financial picture for a business owner. Business owners like stability. We have not provided financial stability in our tax rate for our business owners in my lifetime.
We're going to go to the phones here. We're at 333-3020. If you're watching, it is a Friday night. It's about 10 minutes to 7. We'll be here for the next about 40 minutes. 333-3020. We're going to go to the phones. But you're in community development.
Yes.
If all these things that you're saying, why weren't you doing this right along? Why weren't you working on all this right along?
So we've been talking about land value tax for 4 years, right? It is not something that there was an appetite for among the elected officials. So one of the reasons I'm running for mayor, and one of the reasons I wanted to run for mayor no matter who else was running, is because I would like to be in a position to have this conversation with the community and then make it happen. One of the best things about this election so far is that we're talking about a policy right now, right? We're not just talking about we're going to roll up our sleeves. I can't stand that type of rhetoric. That type of rhetoric wins elections, but it gets nothing done in government.
I'm not getting it myself. I'm walking away going, what are these guys saying they're going to do? And again, Seth, I know I'm a pain in the ass for it. What are you going to do, and how can I believe you're going to do it and can do it?
But that's the beauty of the conversation we're having right now. I'm talking about land value tax as my solution. Do steps need to be taken to make it happen? Yes, but that's what leadership is.
Let's go to the phones. 333-3020. We're with Seth Piccarello. He's running for mayor. Hi, you're on with us, Seth.
What I got out of the debate the other day was your plan. I didn't get nothing from your opponent's plan. He didn't mention anything what he wants to do.
Well, what he did say was that he was in favor of a reassessment. So I did think it was interesting that, and I appreciated it, the debate was largely about land value tax, right? And for me, that's exciting because that's a topic that I want to talk about. I don't
know, we lost him. He'll have to call back.
I would prefer to hear some more specifics about what Bob would want to do.
Let's see if is it you back, or we got another person here?
Yeah, it's my first day with a telephone.
Yeah, you'll learn how to use it. It's okay.
So go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
What I understood was, all right, now I've read up on this land value. Now, Bob didn't say anything what his plan was, except for use for a reassessment. Now, you're saying also, Seth, that if the state doesn't approve it, you have to go to put pressure on the land speculators. How will you do that?
So
what would be your plan?
It would be, I wouldn't prefer to do this way, but there are fees in other cities based on vacancy. It would be much harder to enforce than a regular tax code, but there are cities like Utica that have used things like this. My preference would be a uniform tax structure, because cities are set up to collect tax, right, from the beginning of time. In order to enforce something that's based on vacancy,
would that have to get a council approval?
All of this would need council approval, right?
Well, I know with the land value, you have to go to the council, then you have to go to a public hearing, and then you present it to the state.
And
that's not going to happen overnight.
You're right. And the other thing that I'm talking about on vacancy, that would be, it would be ordinance based. So yeah, everything we do would require city council approval.
Now, how would that affect the old Wentz Dairy?
So the old Wentz Dairy is a great example. Like for right now, the city owns Wentz because of tax foreclosure. So,
Okay.
but again, like let's just say that was privately owned, and it was vacant, and it was confirmed vacant. There would be a financial fee. If you're talking about how land value would affect Wentz, it would still be a better deal for the owner because that building is so large that
Right.
its taxes are based on it being a large manufacturing center as opposed to just being a parcel of land in LaSalle.
Because, I mean, we need to do something aggressively. We can't keep going the same old, and I think that's what's happening if your opponent comes in as mayor. I can't see, I have not yet heard one thing from him what he's going to do.
So if I'm a business owner,
In the first forum he had,
it,
he didn't, I walked away saying, what did he say?
if I'm a business owner, and I listened back to the second debate yesterday. If I'm a business owner, what I've heard from me is that I'm looking at land value tax. What I heard from my opponent was equalization eventually and reassessment, and that's based on his answer, and that scares me as a homeowner, because if there's a reassessment, my taxes are going up. Okay, my property is underassessed. It just
You have to
is.
start looking at creative ways to create more revenue for the city, because you can't cut services. We know that. All right, and you have to fill a $13 million deficit. And I think the land value, what I read on this thing, everything I read was it will bring in more revenue, and eventually you will lower the property tax of the homeowner. Now, would it have to lower the property tax of the homeowner, or could their property tax stay the same, status quo?
There's certain, like for instance, there's going to be houses that it'll differ. Like I'm looking right now, on Pasadena Avenue. If there was a reassessment, right, they would be paying like $800 more in taxes. Okay, it would be in a land value tax. They're going to be saving a few $100s a year in taxes. It's not a 20% reduction, but it's stable. In some houses, you're going to see a big difference. It depends on where the property is, but you're seeing a savings across the board.
When you put your thing up on the website tomorrow, are you going to do the whole city, or how are you going to do it?
We're doing a
I'm
sample.
thinking maybe Midtown area,
So
the North End, maybe the Cell area.
we have a sampling. We pulled 28 properties that show every neighborhood, and we think that that's a pretty good indication. We also have a link to a website where you can calculate it yourself. So if you can type in your address and figure it out, for your specific house.
Because when I saw that publication, it came out like every 45 minutes. They were coming in, scaring the public.
Well, they have a reason to, because
Well, exactly.
They're
They're out there scaring the public about land value tax, and I think you made it perfectly clear if people watched the debate of how it will work.
well,
And I think the only problem I'm seeing is the old people. The old people are going to be scared.
Well, what anyone should know, that, and it came out in the debate, that under Mr. Restaino's plan, there's a reassessment. There is.
Right.
So, in a traditional reassessment, we know exactly what a traditional reassessment
Yeah,
does.
but in reality, though, under your plan, there has to be a change too. The tax structure. I mean, if we just let it go the way we're going, and we don't get the casino money, we're screwed, aren't we?
Of course we are. So not only that, let's pretend we're small business owners right now. You're still paying double. So every couple of years, small business owners get together and say to the mayor and the city council, please do something. We're taking a beating. And
I think, Sal, I think you're getting confused because land value tax won't increase your property value. It's going to decrease your property value. Am I right, Seth?
Yeah, so it's a different, because it's not going to be as high. Your traditional land value as a number is going down, and then you're taxed on that. It's a different, you're changing the structure, but your rate, your dollars out the door per thousand goes down.
We had the cities that the publication said this did not work in. What makes you think Niagara Falls won't be one of those that it will work
But
in?
Sal, I mean, there was also just lies. I mean, we were contacted, I'll tell you this right now, we were contacted by a company called Urban Tools, right, that back in the 90s talked to Niagara Falls about their tax rate when homestead, non-homestead. They must get Google alerts about land value tax. And they said, what is going on with your hometown paper? They just put blatant lies in about a tax structure. I had to explain that it's not our paper of record. So I'm not going to answer to just out and out lies that publication, because they are politically supporting my opponent, I'm not going to answer to it.
So you're saying that the publication wasn't factual, it was lies, it was on purpose? Is this what you're?
They said that the taxes would go up over 100%. That is just blatantly false information.
And they're scaring the public by doing this.
And it's honestly probably the most blatant I've seen. But that is something that is just a complete lie. So we're going to combat.
Because they passed petitions. He's advertising in the paper, and he has not put a plan out yet of what he wants to do besides reassessment. So I wish you luck with this. I think education will be the most important part in the next 20-some days to getting this out there, and every possible program you can get out there to the people to understand what this is not a reassessment. Now, is that land value only in the downtown area, or is that over the whole city?
It would be citywide, and the average savings per parcel is $160 per year. Again, that is not $10,000 per year, but
better in my pocket than somebody else's pocket, I guess.
But here's the best part about it. Every year under our current system, if the equalization is like tinkered with, your taxes could go up, you could go down. You have to think to myself, I might have to go to a city council meeting to make sure that my taxes go down. But if your taxes go down, that means the business owner is going up. $160 per year savings is the average. To determine the property tax rate under land value tax, you would divide the value of land of your house that your house sits on by 1,000 and multiply that figure by $203.69. I know that's a complicated thing, but Sal, to your question of the how, that's the how. That's how you get the value.
Well, you know what you got to do, so you got to keep plugging away at it.
Yep.
And you know where I stand, but wish you the best of luck with this stuff. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Talking with Seth Piccarello, he's running for mayor. Incidentally, his opponent, Bob Rustino, has been contacted by us. He has been offered an opportunity to be here. He did tell me he's busy. He can't do it before the primary. He may contact us after the primary. Coming right back. We're at 333-3020. At the Wellness Park Pharmacy at 86th and Buffalo Avenue and the Community Medical Pharmacy on Michigan Avenue just off Main Street, you're not just another customer, and your needs are important. To them, you're a somebody.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
Now under new ownership, both pharmacies will see to it that you get the personal service that you deserve. Want to give them a try? Then call right now, 260-1918, and tell them you want to switch your prescriptions over to the Wellness Park Pharmacy or Community Pharmacy in Niagara Falls. They'll make all the phone calls to make it happen. And both pharmacies offer free home prescription delivery. And when you have them on the phone, be sure to ask about their wide selection of CBD products, available in creams, oils, gummies, and much, much more. Get all the details today by calling 260-1918. The Wellness Park Pharmacy at 86th and Buffalo Avenue and the Community Medical Pharmacy on Michigan Avenue just off Main. Call 260-1918.
Where everybody knows your name. Everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came.
Yeah, check out the CBD products here. We're talking with Seth Piccarello. He's running for mayor. You said you're putting all this stuff up on your website
By
in the
tomorrow.
next day or so.
Yeah, and our
Let's-
Facebook.
Let's give the addresses
Yes.
so people can check it out.
It's Seth4FORNF.com, and then just /tax.
And the Facebook.
Facebook is Seth4NF, and we're also on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, one more time. The
Seth4FORNF.com /tax.
I asked you about, and just for information, just for your information, right now people are saying, well, I'm got 178 people watching us live
Great.
right now.
That's
So
appreciated.
the message is getting out there.
That's good.
And this will run until Monday. So if somebody's out there that missed the show, you want to tell them, hey, Seth said this, or this is what's going on, or again, if you're a politician and you'd like to appear on our show, contact us. We're at nbn7900@gmail.com. We'll make room for you. Got another blockbuster question for you.
Okay.
Seth, if he gets in, he is just going to be a carbon copy of what we've seen for the past 12 years with the mayor. He's part of that regime. He's just another extension of Mayor Deister's term. You say no.
So I'll
So
say that-
what I want to know is, why should I believe you when you say no?
Sure.
What are you going to do different?
So I'm proud of my work as community development director. I wanted to work for the city my entire life. When given the opportunity, I took it, right? So in that time, we have renovated over 450 houses, improved over 16 parks, started a home ownership auction, started the zombie fight project. That work and that experience, I think, is what qualifies me for mayor. How am I different than the administration? I think you can see it in my platform. Things like completely changing the tax structure that exists, going after land speculators for the first time, honestly, in my generation, talking about direct negotiation with the Seneca, which is not something that the current administration was willing to do, looking for a different financial relationship with the state. Those are all examples that I've been talking about since October.
Looking, trying. My famous question: How?
Well,
How are we doing all
so-
these things?
Well, like we're talking about right now, as far as taxes and changing the tax rate and making it more equitable, changing to a land value tax, how to go after land speculation, make it financially uncomfortable to land speculate in our city. Direct negotiation with the Seneca, as we see in the newspaper, they are saying that they're not going to pay the arbitration amount. We need to go and sit down with them and say, what can we do as a host community to negotiate a specific financial arrangement? Better negotiations with the state. We negotiate for a portion of the parking revenue on Goat Island. Those are the specifics. I can't make any of those specifics happen right now, but what I have done is set forth plans on all of them. And, I'm not the only employee of this administration running for mayor. Bob's also paid for by the administration. He works within the police department. So I'm proud of the work that I've done as a public servant. I have clearly stated how I would be different than this administration.
You think you're going to have any clout with the state? I'm looking, coming into the studio today, I see they're just pushing the people right past the city, right into the state park. You think you're going to be able to go to them people and say, hey, are they going to be receptive to you? And
Everything that I've talked about actually helps the state as well. If we have a more stable financial environment, we don't need state incentives. Those state incentives can be used somewhere else. That's saving them money. We're looking to control our own destiny. I talked about 5 to 10 year increments a minute ago. That's what businesses want. That's what our government wants too. I don't want every budget year to have this calamity where we don't know how we're going to plug a hole. And I'm also not looking for someone else to save us. I think the state would appreciate municipalities that have a strong, predictable financial arrangement that they don't have to come in and save or bail out. That's where the relationship with the state's going to start.
have you talked to anybody yet to get this feeling going, to say, hey, we can, if I make it, can we sit down?
Have I talked to Governor Cuomo about it? No.
I don't know
But-
who. I don't know
but
who do you have to talk
I have strong relationships with people at the state. I think, obviously, any conversations that we have before I'm in office don't really mean anything, right? Because it's just a candidate talking. But the state knows that my goal as mayor is to create a financial environment in the city that's stable and that doesn't need to be bailed out. I think if we keep looking at other levels of government to save us. It's just irresponsible. Are there opportunities to work together? Sure. You know this in policing. Departments work together on a daily basis, and that's a positive, but that's not going to save your budget.
We get phones ringing. We're at
Great.
333-3020 with Seth Piccarello. Once we pick up, hold on, we'll get to you. Hi, you're on with Seth.
Am I back on, Sal?
Yep.
Okay. What I forgot to ask you, Seth, was this. A homeowner buys a lot next to his house.
Yeah.
Let's say he tore the house down. He buys the house. He buys the property. How does land value tax now affect him?
Well, it would still be, that vacant lot the taxes would be higher on that vacant lot than they are right now, because the taxes on a vacant lot right now are nothing. So
Okay.
the vacant lot next to the homeowner would be more expensive than it is now. It would be, because you're only taxing the value of the land.
Okay.
So that's a difference. Obviously, that doesn't happen on a daily basis, but because we're taxing on land, that vacant lot next to the house is more valuable. What we would hope to see happen is that might actually stimulate some infill growth of that lot.
What's a vacant land in this city tax,
Nothing.
roughly?
I mean, if you think about it, if a vacant lot is assessed for a few $1,000s,
Yeah.
the taxes are almost
Because I
nothing.
do know people bought vacant lots next to their homes, once the building torn down. That's
Sure.
what I was wondering.
I mean,
that's going to affect that homeowner's tax right there.
It would affect that, because it's not just it's a parcel that now is more valuable than it just being a
Okay.
vacant lot.
Good question. Thanks, Joe.
That's a great question.
What I was wondering about that. At 333-3020 is the phone number. And once we pick up, hang on, we'll get to you. We're talking with Seth Piccarello. How many people have bought vacant lands next to them in the city? Has
but
there been a
here's-
lot or just a few?
No, but here's something I should have mentioned. Usually what they do anyways is amalgamate that property. So if it's already amalgamated to their parcel, right, it'll be part of your parcel. So usually people don't buy that lot and then have it be separate. They'll have it amalgamated to their property already.
So it's part of their
Yeah,
part
so
of their
that would
land, and
help.
it wouldn't be that
That
expensive.
would help, honestly. I should have said that to Joe. If it's people who buy a vacant lot next to them they should make it part of their parcel anyways for insurance purposes and a lot of other things.
You're on with Seth. Hi.
Me? I'm on?
You're on.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, hey, look, man, I don't think that you possibly have enough time to go after this LVT. I'm going to tell you from what I understand here, from what people are talking about, this city is in financial dire straits right now. We're even in worse shape than Lockport ever was, and probably worse shape than what Butler was, because they have a hell of a lot of buildings that they're bringing money in. Now, there is a very, very, very good chance that the control board is going to come in here. This is a mess.
So
The council,
Dave,
the mayor-
Dave, that's what I'm talking about. So we need to change the entire system. So we have time to put in an LVT? We don't have time to continue to do what we're doing. If we continue,
I want to know, stop right now. What are you going to do? You've seen what happened. The mayor and the council caved in. They gave all the unions 7-year raises on our back when there's people losing their homes left and right every year in the in-realm auction. I myself over here, I own both commercial property and residential property. The lots that I bought next to my garage with the dilapidated buildings on, I tore down, and everything else over there. Because the area is depressed, now my land is going to be taxed higher because it's LVT. That's
no,
bullshit,
it won't.
man. That's
Dave,
bullshit.
Dave, you're not listening.
What are you going to do? You're going to be a mayor by name only if you become the mayor. You or 3 other guys here. If the control board comes in, that's it. They're going to start wiping things out.
Dave, I'm not sure why you're yelling, but
I don't know.
you're
I'm
certainly yelling, Dave.
He gets all riled up.
Dave,
Dave's passionate.
The taxes on your property would be going down. I'm going to tell you right now, right? If we continue on, if we do a reassessment, and the casino payment does not come in, okay, we will be headed to a control board. We will be headed to a much more difficult financial picture than we are now. We cannot continue the way that we are now. So
We're done as of July. At the end of July.
I'm running and talking about a different tax structure.
Why aren't you talking about? It's going to take a pretty long time to get this LVT. I'm sorry if I'm talking loud. That's just the way I am. I even at normal, if you've seen me in person, this is the way I talk. We don't have enough time for this. There's going to be a control board coming
Well,
in here.
Dave-
You could see what's happening.
Dave, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm 37 years old, and the homestead, non-homestead has been in since 1997, and administrations and council members have continued to punt on a broken tax structure for that amount of time. 1997, I was a freshman in high school. I'm 37 years old. So, if this takes a year to 2 years, I am not going to apologize for the fact that we need to do something different.
It's not going
Hold
to
on,
happen,
hold
Dave.
on. I'm going to tell you something, Dave. Past generations have failed this city. I'm running for mayor because we need to be smarter. I'm the first politician in my generation that is actually talking about specifics. So, I am not going to just listen to the fact that new things can't happen and the state's going to do what they're going to do. We're going to control our own financial destiny if I win as mayor.
Seth, I'm going to tell you what. This doesn't make sense.
Okay,
You're
well,
overblowing your own horn, saying you're doing this and
I'm
that.
not
But yet
overblowing-
When you go down,
What?
Pine Avenue, there's almost 60 storefronts.
and
vacant
ask
storefronts
and ask
right
those
now.
and ask those storefronts, and ask the businesses that were in them or the businesses that remain, what the hardest thing or one of the hardest things to overcome is, and if they're going to say an unfair tax rate. Those small businesses pay double what homeowners do, and there is no political will to change that. No other candidate in this race is talking about a way to change it other than saying we're going to be aggressive and be more business friendly. Those
What
are
are you
those are
going to
nice
do?
those are nice 5 to 10 word answers, but
What
they
are
don't
you
solve the
going to
problem.
do when it comes to this negotiation? Are you going to renegotiate with the unions here? Because that's not acceptable with
We are gonna work-
7-year contracts with 2% raises for every year.
We're going to
We
work
can't
to find.
afford that.
We're going to, you can't just automatically make the assumption that we don't have plans for things. We are going to find the concessions that we need to. We have strong relationships with those groups, and we're going to work with them because everyone knows the financial situation that
Do you
we're in.
think they're going to give up 2% raises for the next 7 years?
I think that we're going to work with those bargaining units. And I think
Your mayor didn't. Your main boss didn't.
So,
and the
have you-
council caved into him because they needed a vote for the election.
one of the
So
reasons,
you're going to do
Dave, I have put my whole career and livelihood on the line in this race. I'm not doing it because I want a title. I'm doing it because I want to help solve these problems. I'm not overblowing anything or tooting my own horn, as you said. Everything that I've ever accomplished is by working together with people. We're going to work together with those collective bargaining units to do things that make sense. We're going to work together with the state and the community to pass a tax structure that makes sense. I'm not going to have another election pass in the hometown that I love with people saying that they're going to do something without a plan. I challenge my opponents in this race to come up with specifics, because right now I'm the only one that's talking about them.
Seth, I'm going to tell you what. I've been through so many of these elections. I know one thing right now. I came from a poor family. My father died when I was a year old. I busted my ass all the way through. There was no freebies in my life. I even built my shop. I tore the building down by hand and built my shop. No freebies, buddy. No freebies. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of people like you coming in here and telling people, oh, we're going to do this, LVT, this is going to be a good thing for the city. I've heard this for the past...
Dave, let me interrupt you a minute, Dave. Dave, let me interrupt you a minute because I'm just curious. He's given you his plan. I'm not saying I'm for it, against it. I'm not saying I'm against his opponent, or now there's a third party who I haven't talked to yet. But have you heard better? Have you heard a solution?
No, I haven't. I
So-
haven't
so
heard
Dave,
anything.
so-
I
so
haven't
Dave-
heard any of them
Dave-
saying that they're going after
But
concessions
Dave,
from
let
the
me,
unions.
if we can, I want to get Dave.
Concessions.
I want to get this conversation back on the right track because we've talked a lot. You know, I have a lot of respect for you. I'm not coming in and saying that this is going to happen and that's going to happen. What I think probably maybe I could have done a better job explaining to you in this call is I'm trying to create a tax structure that actually respects your resiliency over the years. So I think that you are absolutely right. Throughout the years, small business owners has gotten especially since 1997, have gotten the worst deal. The reason that small business owners continue to get taxed more is because politicians traditionally are more afraid of residents, right? The residents are voters. I'm trying to create a system that is equitable for both, because if there was an equalization right now under a standard system, that would mean that small business would go down, but residential would go up to meet it, right? I'm trying to come up with another way because I don't think that's the right
You just
way.
don't want to talk about any other way of
I,
bringing the
I
taxes
do.
down in this.
I do because I'm also the only candidate in this race that
other way
I'm
do you
I'm
have?
telling you, Dave. In my department over the last 6 years, I cut costs by 50%. Have you ever talked to a department head that has done that in this city?
What other things
I'm
are
telling
you
you.
going to do to bring this deficit down?
We-
I mean, we're in a bad mess here.
As I've said,
$15 million in a hole.
As I've said, I'm the only candidate in this race that's shown that you can cut costs administratively. I'll continue to do so.
Seth, the only thing that I noticed since you've been there right now, we got that close to $500,000 that was put into that fire hall on Highland Avenue that isn't complete.
That's not
All
true,
that
Dave.
millions and millions of dollars that has gone in over on 3rd Street, and guess what, buddy? It's not happening.
You know, Dave,
It's not
the tone.
happening.
So I see that. I understand that the tone of this call is different than you've in the past. Again, I'm going to sum it up by this. I'm the only candidate.
You're part of the trouble.
Okay.
You're part,
I'm part
of the trouble in the
Okay.
city.
I'm the only.
All right, let
I'm
him-
the only.
let him answer that.
I'm the only candidate has shown the ability to cut administrative costs. I'm the only candidate that's talking about a tax plan, and I'm excited to talk about both. And Dave, I hope that our conversations return back to how they usually are. But obviously tonight, you're in an argumentative mood.
No. I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm tired of this.
So am
tired
I,
of
Dave.
hearing-
That's what- Dave, so am I.
don't hear any concrete proof from you. Oh, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to talk to
No,
the unions. I'm
you're-
going to go.
Well, he's
You're-
given
you're not.
more than I've heard so far.
I'm telling you.
from anybody.
I'm gonna
Dave,
I'm going to summarize it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to summarize it again. The best way to see growth for small businesses and for homeowners is to reduce the rate, provide sound services, and create some stability. We have to cut costs. I'm committed to it. I've shown that I can do it. So those two things are the best ways that we can write our financial picture. It's not just about growing revenue. It's also about reducing costs.
You know, I think what everybody has to do is listen to the candidate, whoever they choose, whoever their candidate happens to be. If they change their mind in the next 20 days, so be it. But listen to the one that you think can do the best for you. Then that's who you go vote for. You got to figure it out. They got to figure it out themselves, Seth. I mean,
Oh, sure, but it's good.
you put those things out there. I'm hearing something from you tonight, and again, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. There's other candidates I haven't heard from yet, so I mean,
The problem is I share Dave's frustration, and it's saying that you can't just say you're going to cut costs, because that won't be good enough. And you can't just say that you're going to try to raise revenue, because that's not good enough. You have to do both. I'm committed to both, right? Because that's the only way that you're going to create some sustainability, with or without the casino funds. So it's both. It's not just saying we're going to be aggressive without a specific plan. I think that we've provided a plan that we want to continue to talk about.
if we don't get the casino funds in the next couple of months, is there going to be massive layoffs? What's going to happen?
I think at that point, you have to start talking about direct negotiation. I think you would also have to talk about, and this is not the position that any of us want to be in, is the state making us whole. But then we have to start creating budgets that don't have casino money.
Oh, what happened to that 12 million the state was going to kick in? They just
After as far as I'm looking at it, after the arbitration came in successful, the expectation was that money was going to be paid. In the last 2 days, you've seen that they're going to challenge paying that. So at this point, that $12.3 million should be requested by the city, because it looks like this could go on for a very long time.
Seth Pecorillo's with us. He's running for mayor. We're coming right back. At the Wellness Park Pharmacy at 86th and Buffalo Avenue and the Community Medical Pharmacy on Michigan Avenue just off Main Street, you're not just another customer, and your needs are important. To them, you're a somebody.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
Now under new ownership, both pharmacies will see to it that you get the personal service that you deserve. Want to give them a try? Then call right now, 260-1918, and tell them you want to switch your prescriptions over to the Wellness Park Pharmacy or Community Pharmacy in Niagara Falls. They'll make all the phone calls to make it happen. And both pharmacies offer free home prescription delivery. We got computer revolt here, but that's okay. It happens. Tell me about, you're going into the final 20 days here.
Yes.
What are you doing as far as campaigning? You're still going, you're doing the door-to-door?
Door to door every day. So that's the heart of the campaign. Talking to people. We had a town hall meeting, which was really one of my favorite days of the campaign. We were excited to be part of the debates, and even though we have differences of opinion, I want to thank Bob for being a part of that. I think those are 2 good nights for our city. Two crowded rooms, talking about civics, right? So I thought that was also key. But now it's about talking to people door to door.
I'm concerned with some of the questions in the first debate. I didn't really understand. I didn't get, how important is it that we pick up TVs that are left on the side of the street?
But so here's the thing, though. So I would
I know
say
it's
this.
important to people, but
It is. It is. We do have to look at some renegotiation of the pickup contract, because that illegal dumping did go up with the new contract. It did.
Sure.
I know that's a major issue, because when we talk to people every day, that's
But
what they talk
look
about.
I know it's important to some people.
It is.
But we have layoffs, we have police problems, we have equipment problems, we have money problems, we have,
But I will say this: a lot of people, everyday people on their street, they don't necessarily know all that, but they know if they see that couch
Right.
that's been sitting there for a month, it really, every time they drive by it and they might be in a good mood, it puts them in a bad mood. So there's ways for us to be smarter in a cost-efficient way to.
Another question
up.
that bugged me,
Yeah.
they asked the politicians, we have the casino negotiations coming up in a couple of years, the new compact. Do you want to have a seat at the table?
Right.
What the hell are you going to say?
Well,
Is there anybody that's going to say, oh, no, we don't, we'll let the state handle it again?
Right. So what part of my answer was no elected official that's around right now at any level was around for the original compact. So whoever wins for mayor, and this is something that Bob and I had agreed on in both debates, whoever is in that seat or council at the time in 2023, they have to really insert themselves in that process. It didn't happen the first time. It's kind of the same way that no one was forceful enough during NIPA relicensing. There has to be a stronger local voice. Of course, in a crowded room, like, what are you going to say? But we have to make sure that we have a better leverage position.
Okay. Fair enough.
But that's up to the mayor and the city council. You got to insinuate yourself into it.
Remind me when we get off the air. I got some TVs I need to have.
Time to stock up on your warm weather favorites for summertime entertaining, gift giving, and enjoying. Supermarket Liquors and Wines is your headquarters for all the liquors and wines you'll need throughout the season. And you know what? They're open 7 days a week for your convenience, late night Friday, Saturday, and always plenty of cashiers on hand to speed you on your way. You want to find out what the specials are every week? Just check them out online, supermarketliquor.com. They're Niagara's largest liquor store, which means their prices and selection are the best you're going to find. Supermarket Liquors and Wines, Niagara Falls Boulevard at Military Road, just across from the Fashion Outlet Mall. Supermarket Liquors and Wines, where you'll always find plenty of brightly lit free parking in front of the store. And plenty of cashiers on hand to speed you on your way. Supermarket Liquors and Wines.
If you were going to build the perfect lawn and garden tractor, what would it look like? Would it have a direct drive shaft? A hydraulic deck lift? What about a cast iron front axle or a welded steel frame? How easy would your tractor be to operate? Would it have power steering and cruise control? How about an automatic transmission? Would your tractor have a cup holder? See, the reason we ask is we've already built that tractor, the Cub Cadet, the world's best designed lawn and garden tractor. Call this number now to find out what makes the Cub Cadet that much better than an ordinary tractor.
Only your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer has genuine parts, accessories, trained service technicians, and the widest selection of innovative Cub Cadet products. We're here for you whenever you need us, with expert service and support to keep your equipment running at peak performance for years to come. Take advantage of exceptional financing at your local Cub Cadet dealer today.
Stop by your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer, Niagara Lawn and Garden Equipment, today.
Hey, and if you weren't lucky enough to buy a Cub Cadet last year, and maybe your new lawnmower or summertime equipment is not running properly this year, they'll fix it at Niagara Lawn and Garden. Mike Richards and the staff. We're talking with Seth Piccarello. Closing today. What do you want everybody to know?
Well, most importantly, primary is June 25th, Tuesday, June 25th. The polls are open from 12 to 9. Tomorrow, in having this conversation keep going about taxes, we're going to have some more detailed information about the land value tax at www.seth4nf.com/tax, and it'll also be linkable through our Facebook and social media.
You're running on the Democratic line.
Yeah.
You're running against Bobby Rustino.
Also on the working families line.
Well, that was my next question. If you should not become victorious, will you stay in the race and run on the minor line?
My honest answer is I'm not thinking about anything past June 25th right now. I am laser focused on that day, and whenever those results come in, there's going to be some decisions to be made. But June 25th and that primary is what I'm thinking about.
Seth, I'm sorry if I put you on the spot,
I like
but
it.
you know what? People ask me, and when you come here, and I give you credit for it,
Right.
when you come here, I'm going to ask what people want to know.
No, and it's a good question, but just being honest, I'm not allowing myself to think about anything other than June 25th.
Best of luck, and thank you for being here, and maybe before the election again, we'll see you.
I'd be
and
happy to come on anytime.
Maybe after the election, we'll see you again.
I hope
Seth
so.
Piccarello, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get real for a moment. When you're looking for a home appliance repairman, what do you look for? Well, in most cases, you look for someone who can do the job honestly and do it correctly the first time. Then you look for someone who's reasonable, someone who's going to give you a fair price for the work he does. Well, I got one that's even better than that. He'll give you the best price you're going to ever hear. His name is Chris Moore, and his service call is $35. Got a problem with the stove, refrigerator, freezer, washer, dryer, hey, you name it. If it's a home appliance, Chris can fix it, and he does it for a $35 service call, plus the cost of the parts and installation. Now, I don't know of any other repairman who's had as much experience, over 30 years, as Chris Moore, who will come to your home for a $35 service call. You know, once you have Chris at your house, you're going to want him back again and again and again, and you're going to recommend him to all your friends and relatives. So you want to have that phone number handy. So what do? Well, let's update. Let's not put it on a piece of paper and stick it somewhere where it's going to get lost or fall off, dry up, and disappear. Put it in your cell phone where you know you can find it when you need it, because you know someday you will need Chris Moore's number. It's 523-5911. Chris Moore's Appliance Repair. $35 service call plus the cost of the parts and installation. 523-5911. Put that in your cell phone right now.